A Day in Colonial Haiti by Philippe R. Girard. 1 a.m. The planter's wife meets a dashing officer. Marie-Jeanne Bayon de Libertat is too giddy to sleep. What an exciting night this has been, she thinks. I cannot remember the last time I was so happy. On paper, she has everything. She's a member of the St. Martins, one of the most distinguished families in the colony. Her father is the dean of the appellate court in the Cape, while her many siblings and in-laws are planters, officers, and royal officials. Her husband is a wealthy planter who is already negotiating a promising marriage for one of their daughters. But she is still a child, Marie-Jeanne Bayon protested fruitlessly when she heard of the wedding plans. What is it with men and their appetite for young flesh? Marie-Jeanne's husband has a well-paying job. He oversees plantations on behalf of absentee owners who live in France. The Bayons reside on one of these estates, the Breda sugar plantation just outside the Cape. Mrs. Bayon is surrounded by servants who cater to her every wish. One slave is employed solely to make her wigs and cook her jams. In all, 47 slaves are employed as domestics to care for a family of 4. Just 2 at the moment, actually, because Mrs. Bayon's 2 daughters are currently studying in metropolitan France. Despite all this help, Mrs. Bayon feels spent, though she is only 29. Life springs forth with unusual vigor in the tropics, but it is consumed just as fast, and the radiant glow of her youth has faded away. Her husband, on the other hand, is as potent as ever at age 52. His only concession to old age is using reading glasses to review his accounting books. Mrs. Bayon is afflicted with a general sense of malaise, a disease that has no name and that has baffled all the learned doctors who've examined her. In the 1770s, she traveled all the way to a spa town in France, known for its soothing mineral waters. She stayed there for 3 years while her husband remained in the colony to oversee the Breda plantation. She is now back in Haiti, so her husband is no longer alone. Not that he was ever truly alone on the plantation that employs 152 slaves, as well as the Bayon's personal servants. The life of a female Creole planter is one of indolence and luxury, but whites are few in the colony, and women even fewer. Mrs. Bayon often gets lonely. There are only so many social equals that she can invite over for dinner, especially since her husband likes to sue his neighbors. 13 years ago, he accused another planter of having some distant African ancestor, making him ineligible for the officer's commission. That lawsuit has yet to be resolved. This lack of refined company is why Mrs. Bayon leapt at the opportunity to invite Count Antoine de Puységur to dinner tonight. He's been the talk of the town, a dashing naval officer who made a name for himself during the American War of Independence. Creoles pride themselves on their sense of hospitality, so Mrs. Bayon, or more accurately her servants, treated the Count like a prince. He repaid her hospitality with brilliant dinner-time conversation. This was a welcome change from her usual tiresome guests, whose conversations revolve around crop prices, droughts, and slaves. The Count is a true product of the Age of Enlightenment. He is a Revolutionary War hero and a man of science. He tests modern watches for the French Navy, a crucial task because keeping accurate time is the only way to calculate a ship's longitude and avoid bumping into unexpected reefs. Officially, he came to Haiti to improve the colony's navigational charts. But the Count did not come to dinner just to discuss battles and clocks. He wants to introduce colonists like Mrs. Bayon to the latest rage from Paris, an exciting new field of medicine called animal magnetism. Originally developed by a German doctor, the technique promises to harness the forces discovered by modern physics, such as electricity and magnetism, in order to cure a variety of ills. Celestial bodies, the earth, and living things influence each other, the Count explained over dinner. This influence is exerted through a universal fluid and obeys mechanical laws that were heretofore unknown, because this fluid's properties are analogous to magnetism. I have named it animal magnetism. The Count's first demonstrations at Providence Hospital in the Cape were nothing short of miraculous. A cripple brought on a stretcher stood up and sauntered about. A female slave who had been paralyzed for 14 years was cured and sent back to work. If those experiments can be repeated, there is fortune to be made. A local planter brought a shipment of poorly slaves for a pittance, and he's planning to magnetize them back to health. Mrs. Bayon's husband is a skeptic. Animal magnetism, life fluids, flux, and reflux, it's all quackery, really, as far as he's concerned. He seems to resent the better-born, younger, more accomplished officers sitting at his table, and he especially resents the way the Count commands his young wife's attention. Now it is getting late, and he has heard enough. After excusing himself, Planter is escorted back to his room by one of his servants, a mixed-race woman named Jeanette. Two other mixed-race servants, named Sevier and Coco, clear the table so that the Count can set up his equipment. Mrs. Bayon snaps at them, with the brusqueness of a person accustomed to being obeyed at once. Creoles grow up surrounded by slaves to get a stern whipping if they dare oppose their young master's tantrums, so slave owners develop an imperious tone that often shocks their contemporaries from Europe, even people like the Count who also grew up in privilege. Adrian, the plantation's mixed-race coachman, brings a large wooden bucket from the stables. There are too many damn mulattoes on the plantation, Mrs. Bayon thinks. The soldiers who were quartered here during the war sparked an epidemic of venereal disease and swollen bellies, I know. But still, that's a lot of brown. Not to mention that cad Rouillon, the sugar refiner, who asked if he could buy his own bastard. Mrs. Bayon complained to the plantation overseer about the large number of mixed-race slaves, but he did not seem to mind. The children of slave women are also slaves by law, Mr. Bayon explained, so one can mix business and pleasure. The Count notices Mrs. Bayon's frayed nerves and decides it's time to get to work. He grabs the bucket brought by the coachman, sets it at the center of the table, and sprinkles iron fillings and bits of grass into the water. He then walks around the dining room, rearranges some mirrors, and unpacks a mysterious box he brought with him. Out comes a glass harmonica, a mechanical instrument invented by the American polymath Benjamin Franklin. The Count waves at Marie-Joseph, a 10-year-old mixed-race girl, to come closer. At his direction, she takes a seat behind the instrument and rotates the wheel. The Count licks his fingers and strokes the harmonica's spinning rolls, producing an ethereal sound. Mrs. Bayon looks at the Count with a rapt gaze. Animal magnetism can be communicated to other objects, both animate and inanimate, he explains. Its power is increased and reflected by mirrors, just like light. It is also communicated, propagated, and increased by sound. Can this power be used to protect my two daughters who are studying in France? Mrs. Bayon asked. She has not received news from her girls because of the war, and she is worried sick. Curing over long distances is impossible, the Count replies curtly. Magnetism relies on direct physical contact and exchange of animal fluids. This is science, not magic. Mrs. Bayon flushes. Now he'll think I'm stupid. The Count places several metallic rods in the water bucket and asks his host to come closer. He ties a rope around her waist and wraps the other end around his own waist to facilitate the exchange of fluids. He can do nothing for her daughters, but he can do something about Mrs. Bayon's frayed nerves. Animal magnetism can cure nervous maladies at once, and others with time. With its assistance, the doctor can provoke and direct curing tremors and become their master. Hell, what do I have to lose? The other doctors want to cure me with leeches and bleedings. Magnetism sounds no more ridiculous and much less dangerous. It is stiflingly hot, even though a 6-year-old mixed-race servant named Timothy, who normally works as a shepherd in the daytime, stands half asleep in a corner, pulling mechanically on the rope of a punka fan. Maybe the heat of the tropics, by upsetting the balance of my bodily humors, is the cause of my ailments, Mrs. Bayon suggests to the Count. The climate surely has an effect on some men around here. Scholars think so, too. Mrs. Bayon once read in a treatise that, quote, sexual needs are felt more strongly in warm countries, unquote. But she did not care for the author's preferred method to cure the urges of colonists. Quote, thankfully, in a colony with a climate like Haiti's, men have access to black women to satisfy impulses that could otherwise cause great damage, unquote. The Count has also read that tropical heat changes the physiology of men. France is abuzz with rumors about the insatiable appetites of Creole women as well, but he is too polite to mention it to his host. He leans over Mrs. Bayon's shoulders, wraps his arms around her waist, and corrects the placement of the magnetic rope. Experience shows that the subtle substance can penetrate all bodies without losing its strength, he whispers. Mrs. Bayon is starting to feel lightheaded. The Count asks exactly what is ailing her. The inexplicable tension that has been building up inside of her all night, for years really, is starting to overwhelm her. She can barely talk. The layers of corsets and skirts, required by 18th century fashion, are not suited for the Caribbean climate, and her heaving bosoms are gasping for air. A knot, down below. This is all she can let out. The Count nods knowingly, grabs one of the metallic rods in the bucket, and begins the treatment. He applies the rod to her stomach. Lower, she whispers. The Count makes a mental note, a classic case of hysteria. He knows what to do. He applies the magnetic rod to the afflicted area, gently at first, then more firmly. The treatment starts to take effect. Mrs. Bayon was silent at first, aside from the initial gasp of surprise, but now she sighs contentedly. Her skin shivers despite the heat. She falls back in her seat. The sighs grow louder. Shivers turn to spasms. Bit by bit, under the firm guidance of the Count's magical rod, she enters into a trance. She hiccups, she spits, she moans. When the crisis reaches its climax, she suddenly lunges forward. Her legs convulse uncontrollably, and she lets out shrieks that are barely recognizable as human. Then the trance stops, and Mrs. Bayon collapses back into her seat. The Count smiles. Yet another success story. By harnessing the power of science, he has restored the normal flow of animal fluids in his patient.
This is a note by the historian. Convinced that the Count of Puységur was a charlatan, local scholars founded a learned society in 1784 to combat the fad for animal magnetism. The society is featured in the 10 a.m. chapter. The Count's abolitionist views were also a concern, especially when slaves in Marmalade Parish tried to marshal the power of magnetism in their voodoo ceremonies. See the 3 a.m. chapter. In the end, animal magnetism was outlawed in Haiti in 1786. Copies of the book A Day in Colonial Haiti by Philippe Girard are available for purchase on Amazon.com as an audiobook, a Kindle, a paperback, and a hardback.